Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a long overdue edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and two winners have been crowned and are advancing to the championship series in their respective leagues. Two more to be crowned. One of them may be crowned tonight. The Astros and the Dodgers have moved on in their playoff series. The Dodgers doing so in 3 games against the Diamondbacks, who weren't able to muster enough offense to defeat Los Angeles. The Dodgers have looked pretty good in their 3 games in the NLDS. On the other end of the spectrum, the Houston Astros defeated the Red Sox. The Red Sox were able to take 1 game in the series, but the Astros did end up winning. The Astros were in complete control of this series as far as I was concerned, with the exception of Game 3. But, Houston looks really, really tough, and that leads us to one of the 2 games that are still left to be played, or one of the 2 series, rather, that are still left to be decided. The first one is the Yankees and the Indians. Cleveland had a 2-0 lead. They took that 2-0 lead at home, went into the Bronx with that 2-0 lead, and are leaving the Bronx, heading back to Cleveland, with the series now knotted up at 2. So the Indians have let the Yankees climb right back into this series. Although I still think Cleveland has the advantage, being that the final game rather is going to be played at home. That game's going to be played tomorrow night. It is a Game 2 rematch, at least as far as the pitching matchup is concerned, where CC Sabathia will face off with Corey Kluber. And it's amazing when you think of how things have gone for the Yankees and this season, where things have gone so right. Here you have CC Sabathia, who has been pitching for 15 years now, or 16 years now, rounding out a very, very lengthy contract that he had signed with the Yankees, and he's the man on the mound. He's the guy who's going to be leading the charge for the Yankees, and he's certainly not the pitcher that the Yankees signed, but it's amazing that he's been able to have the season that he's had. CC's always been sort of an inspiration to an out-of-shape person like myself. If he could do it, why couldn't I, sort of thing. But it's kind of cool to see CC out there. I don't want to say anything else about the Yankees, to be completely honest. I've made this pretty clear. I'm not a Yankee hater. I'm really not. I just have a hard time rooting for a team that's searching for its 28th World Series victory when their opponents haven't won a World Series since 1948. So, I can't get behind the Yankees. I'm sorry, I just can't. And I mean, I live in Pennsylvania. I know it's not the same for those of you who live in New York and who have to put up with Yankee fans every day. That's how I feel about the Phillies. So, the World Series where the Phillies and the Yankees faced off and the Yankees won, I was never a bigger Yankee fan than I was during that World Series. So I get what you're feeling. I know how hard it must be having to deal with people every day who are touting their pinstripes and their 27 rings. But let's shift gears and talk about the National League, because tonight at 5:30, the Nationals and the Cubs will face off. Jake Arrieta going for the Cubs, and Keith Hernandez's favorite sports brawl wearer, Tanner Roark, is pitching for the Nationals. And let's just hope that Tanner has some good support tonight, and that nothing's going to be lit for him. For me, I hope the Nationals get crushed tonight. I hope they lose in convincing fashion and are bounced from the playoffs, sitting at home where they belong. I can't stand that franchise. I've made that abundantly clear. I want them gone. I'm just pissed they won 1 game, to be perfectly honest. I didn't even want them to win 1. So that'll be tonight at 5:30. Tomorrow night, Yankees-Indians to wrap up that series. And if necessary, if the Cubs can't put the Nationals away in Wrigley tonight, the final game of that series will be played Thursday night. and then we'll round up the NLCS and ALCS by the weekend. So I'll be back hopefully by the time that those results have been laid out, and by the time we know who's playing who. I am going to be on the road again this week, but I should be able to get a video in at some point. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Apologies for the delay. Also, apologies that I didn't talk about the Mets today, because there's not much to talk about. I will get into the managerial search because that seems to be the hottest topic, but I wanted to talk about the playoffs instead. So I'll talk about the managerial search another time, either later this week or perhaps next week. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter if you're not already doing so at Mr_Met. And as always, let's go Mets.